welcome to episode 6 of the Hodge Podcast. I am your host, Steve Hodge, and joining me as always is my co-host, cousin, and lover, Kevin Hodge.
Woo!
God damn it. Shut up! So, obviously, no one else is going to get that until right now when we explain it. On Friday, we went and saw...
Except Josh and Jay.
And Josh and Jay, yes, if they're listening. On Friday, as we said last episode, we went and saw Whiskey Myers on Friday, and we'll get into the concert in a minute, but first we have to talk about the Woo guy, because I don't know if any of you remember, or if you remember this, Kevin, Super Bowl, it had to have been like 49 or 50 or something. I didn't hear it during the game, but the internet pointed it out, and then I couldn't stop hearing it after. Apparently, during the entire game, there was just this guy going, woo! And he was sitting right by a camera, so you heard it the entire game. And I didn't notice it until, I saw it on the internet like 2 days after. Everyone's like, the Woo guy needed to shut up. And that's all I was thinking about the entire time we're at that concert, because right behind us, it was me, you, and then Josh and Jay were sitting there watching the concert, and during the songs, not like cheering after a song or while the guy's talking or anything, during the songs, as we're trying to sing along to whatever song was playing, we just hear, woo, 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 and we're just like, oh my god, I'm losing my mind.
So, I'm not going to be one to try to say that being drunk at a concert is wrong, because Lord knows I am always drunk at concerts.
All three of you were drunk at this concert, so yeah.
Exactly, but you also noticed that we were woo-less in the entire show.
He's a woo girl.
Yeah. But yeah, no, literally, it was this guy who clearly drunk, and he wasn't singing along. He wasn't even wooing in a way that would be like on a beat or like to a song that has like a long held note. It was just he had apparently drank himself into a stupor where he's just like, I don't know the words anymore. All I've got is woo, so I'm just gonna woo.
It was obnoxious.
And it wasn't short either. It wasn't a bunch of woos. It was like extremely like as long as he could hold it.
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised how long he was able to hold that note.
Seriously,
he should have been
a market out there. If there's a market out there for people who want to listen to that, the dude could make millions.
Maybe he's the guy from the Super Bowl.
Oh,
asshole. But the other one that made me laugh was that drunk dude that was behind us. The other drunk guy was behind us during Ballad of a Southern Man, when we're just sitting there just like, is this song over yet? And I think he walks up to us. I don't know how much you remember this because you were drunk, but he walks up and goes, doesn't this make you wish you were from the South? I'm like, no. Like, not at all. I'm like, we don't like this song.
I don't remember that. I do remember. I remember that. I didn't remember him saying, doesn't this make you wish you were from the South? But I do remember you saying to him, we don't like this song. Yeah. Because then I'm pretty sure the rest of the song I was just going, and I was just making noises instead of actually singing the song.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, as we said last week, if you didn't listen, we love Whiskey Myers, but we don't like that song. But it's just funny because the irony of what we said last week about it is like, we're from the North and we have those things. And this guy goes, doesn't this make you wish you were from the South? I'm like, no, because I know people who have their granddaddy's gun and who drive trucks and sit on lake banks and all this. Like, this isn't anything new that you need to go down south for. Yeah, if you want to fly your Confederate flag, yeah, you probably should go to the South. But like, other than that, it's just like,
it makes me laugh because, just geographically speaking, outside of the South, there is a lot more space. And so there is a lot more rural area. So there are a lot more people outside of the South that would actually understand these things than people in the South.
Granted, the one thing I actually did realize while listening to the song at the concert was, in the song, they never really say, like, this is a Southern man thing. They just say, this is something you wouldn't understand. So it's the song.
True, it could be just for like aimed at people who just
like,
actually don't understand.
The song should just be called like the Ballad of a Country Man or something like that. Like it shouldn't be the Ballad of a Southern Man because it's not a Southern thing. It's a country thing, which is fine. Though again, it is still a very laundry list song. But like, yeah, it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't be called Ballad of a Southern Man. And no, that song does not make me wish I lived in the South. What makes me wish I lived in the South is winters up here.
Yeah, no, that's a real thing.
And fried fish down south is amazing. And Disney World.
Disney World.
Sorry, Harry Potter World. But yeah, like so yeah, it kind of, listening to it, I still don't like that song, but it did kind of make me hate it a little less just hearing that in the song they never specifically say, like, you Northerners wouldn't get this. I was like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
I'll give you
I guess, and I never really thought about it from that perspective, and I guess that is a very fair point, that like if when they were writing it, maybe, you know, they call it Ballad of a Southern Man because they're from Texas, and I mean, it is in the quote-unquote South, although people from Texas usually don't try to identify as Southern.
They
just
identify as their
Texan.
own country.
Yeah, exactly.
What did Texas say about the song, or about Texas? It's the best country in the world.
Yeah.
It's the best country in the U.S.
in
or
America.
something?
Yeah, no, Texas, greatest country in America.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so I guess I got to give it the benefit of the doubt from that perspective, that if they were not actually writing it with the sole purpose of saying people from the North don't understand these things, that does take away a lot of my hatred for that song. So like the only thing I then don't like about it is that it is still just a laundry list song. But so I don't totally hate it then from that perspective.
I did like that they made it an acoustic ballad though at the concert.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of the rest of the concert, it was great.
Oh no, it was fantastic. They like Jay said a bunch of times, it's like they're kind of a jam band.
Yeah, I didn't notice that
when it comes to live shows.
Yeah, I didn't notice that the first time I saw them because obviously they were an earlier set, so they didn't have the time to be on stage because they were on stage for 2 hours at least.
Yeah,
they didn't have that time when I saw them last year, so they just kind of went on, played their songs, then got off stage. Whereas that time they jammed a lot.
Yeah, and I love that. Just when they, you know, all of the guys are just rocking out, and then, you know, go from solo to solo, and just different people stepping out and playing. Like, I love that shit. So I thought it was amazing.
Like Tony Kent, the percussionist.
Greatest moment of the concert, just during a jam set. He runs out because so there's this one guy in the band that he, I would say
his name's Tony Kent.
He basically just kind of does auxiliary percussion during the entire show. He's got like maracas or like a tambourine or whatever. He's just kind of sitting in the back. He's got a small drum kit that he hits certain, you know, like one drum and one cymbal or whatever. And so like he's adding background percussion noises because they have their regular drummer. But at this one point, he just ran up to the front of the stage with a cowbell and just rocked the fuck out of that cowbell. And it was amazing.
I love it. He did the same. Yeah, I did the same thing at the Lake Shake last year, and I knew I'd have to, or Smoke Out, not Lake Shake. Fuck the Lake Shake. I'll never go to that place. Yeah, they just rocked the hell out of it, and me and Palm were going crazy for it. But yeah, and he, I doubt he's listening, but he liked our post on Instagram, and that was pretty cool.
I wouldn't be surprised if that guy is like the most fun person in that entire band, because he was getting into it
Just
and
wants
like
to party.
Yeah, he looked like he was just loving life, and it might be because he's like, I have, you know, the things I have to do are not going to take up a lot of mental energy, so I can just kind of jam out. But yeah, no, that dude was awesome.
Yeah,
the concert was awesome. The only thing I have to say, as a minus to them, is that they didn't play Lonely East Texas Nights, and I don't know why, and it makes me sad.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be your one complaint.
It's just such a great song. Like I don't know why they wouldn't, unless they have something against it, because they have to know that it's you know, a song that people would want to hear, and it's not like they didn't play any of the slower songs, because they played Broken Window Serenade pretty early on.
Yeah, which that was the one that surprised me. I did not expect to hear that song, so that one made me super happy. But
Yeah.
I was really mad that they didn't play it. Obviously I wanted to hear it, but I was really looking forward to just turning to you during it and just going, "Is this a good song?" But I never got to do that because they never played it.
Yeah. So I mean, the whole concert was great. Woo guy was annoying, but I had the benefit of being drunk, so it didn't bug me.
I was stone cold sober with him yelling straight in my ear. So
yeah, I would imagine that would suck. But it was a great night. Me and Jay and Josh went out afterwards, which was fun. Me and Jay got 3 a.m. Korean tacos, so that was fun. And then
no Goon Man?
No, we just started walking and we saw this place that was open and we got it and it was delicious, but then my stomach and body were very angry at me the next day.
Fair, yes. Last time I was in Chicago, drunk all night, we went to Al's Beef, and it was amazing because their Italian beef is the greatest. And that's what I got when I was wasted last time in Chicago, but
nice.
I was sober this time. I guess speaking of concert, we could talk about the upcoming concert.
Which one's
Wednesday?
the upcoming concert? I was just because we're going to Cody Johnson soon too,
well,
and I was just like,
we'll talk about that next week.
Oh yeah. So you're talking about Is This Eric Church?
Is This Eric Church? Yes. So you get to see him Wednesday. I get to see him Thursday because he's coming to our individual apartments and playing for us.
Yep. We have that kind of money raking in from this podcast already, so
all this advertising money for the advertisements we don't do because
random shout out. If anyone has advertisements they would like to be played, we will play them happily or read them or whatever.
As very happy as we are to do this podcast, we make no money doing it and I actually spend money doing this.
Yeah, no, we're actually losing money now, so woo.
Mm-hmm. Woo. And every advertisement we do, we will woo during the entire thing.
Exactly. Background woo, constant. But did I tell you that Pat had to back out from this Wednesday, so now I'm back to sitting with everybody. So I went out and bought that ticket, and then now going to go sit with them anyway. So I put my ticket out on StubHub to sell. So hopefully I can do that and get money back.
Surprised it hasn't been bought yet.
I mean, I guess I have to look to see, which
I
I could probably do right now.
That makes sense.
So it has all come full circle. I'm now back to the original plan and going with the people, sitting with the people.
So you're not going to be sitting alone like a loser.
Yeah, but I would have been fine with doing that. It's all good.
I would have been really fine. I'm going to be confused and alone with Brett and his coworkers and not knowing what I'm doing because I don't know any of them. But
just woo the entire time.
Oh, that's the plan.
That's the way you get friends.
I'm never not gonna woo ever again. Anyway, I'm super excited for that. As we've probably said before, it's no opener, 2 sets of his own. He plays for 3 hours, so we're gonna get to hear a large amount of his catalog. And I'm
it's gonna be
super pumped for it. Hopefully he plays Those I've Loved because that's my favorite song by him.
I would imagine, yes, because I feel like that's one of his go-tos when he does, strips it down for just acoustic, which when he's got this much time, I have to imagine he'll have a really long acoustic set.
Yeah, he did that for the More and More Church concert, I remember, because I lost my shit during it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. Going to be fun.
It's going to be great. I'm probably going to have a few beverages. And the good news about seeing concerts in, I guess it's not technically Iowa, it's in Moline, but seeing them out here, they're so much cheaper than if I were to be seeing him back in Chicago.
Yeah.
As far as booze.
Yeah. I mean, I think still the cheapest concert we went to is probably that Craig Campbell one. Because the tickets were, like $20, and then cheap beer the whole time. And then we were right by the district, so we just walked over to the district after. It was awesome.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get something like that to happen again. Not like, because granted, I feel that way about seeing Whitey Morgan and Cody Jinks at Ribco, because that's like,
Yeah.
how does that make sense? But then, those are guys that are lesser known in the grand scheme of, mainstream radio and whatnot. But like Craig Campbell, even though he'd only had the one, did he have 2 albums out?
Yeah. He had No Regrets and the self-titled, or was it self-titled?
Yeah, I think his first one is, right?
I think so. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So, he only had 2 albums, but still, like, he was a guy, had radio success. I feel like had been on some significant tours before. So the fact that he played just in a park in Rock Island, that was insane.
Yeah, I still can't believe that one, that he played there. But yeah, it's his first one's Craig Campbell. His second one's Never Regret. I just said No Regrets because I like that tattoo. But yeah. So anyway, got some concerts. Yeah, April's a 3 weekend in a row concert month thing.
Yes, it is.
Get Eric Church this week, and then Cody Johnson next week. Super excited for that. We're gonna have to figure out. We're gonna have to figure out a game plan for getting to the city for that, because I'm probably gonna want to drink that time.
Yeah, and just driving in the city is fucking terrible.
Super fun.
So I would say we should just train it up. But
yeah, because there's a train, I think, a block and a half or so away from my apartment, so we could do that easy.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that'll be fun. Kevin, we got our first hate mail.
Yes, we did. And I don't know if I ever said it on the podcast, but I said it to you before we started recording this podcast, that my main goal, or not main goal, but one of my significant goals of doing this was I would just wanted us to get, out there enough to receive hate mail, because that is awesome and it makes me laugh. And so when you showed that to me, I laughed pretty good, and it was great.
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know, anyone who's listening, because I don't think I posted it on our account, I posted it on my personal account. I got a message from a guy, he's talking about the Jason Isbell episode, and he was just telling me how chock full of inaccuracies it was. And I had to be nice and just reply, kind of thanks for the feedback, but I guess rather than say that privately to him, I'm going to now very publicly shame him.
Shame.
We have said multiple times, on air, off air, in our bio, on our Twitter, iTunes, and every other form of media, that we're dumb and we don't know what we're talking about.
I would like everyone to take a look at our bio and notice that it says 2 unqualified idiots, which I feel like absolves us of all requirements to be factual at all.
And I don't know how many times, especially the Jason Isbell episode and every episode before and every episode from now on, we have said, I think this is what happened, but I don't know. Because we do about an hour maybe of research before we record this, because the goal of the podcast wasn't to be a biography. We're not making documentaries about these artists. We're not trying to explain their life stories and inform you on all that. We started this podcast because mostly we wanted to tell our friends, but we wanted to tell anyone who listen what good music to listen to. And obviously this guy knows a lot about Jason Isbell, because he told me about the super group he's in, where he knows members of the band and the wives of members of the band and all this stuff, which is, congrats, dude, that's cool. But I don't know why you're listening to our podcast just so I could tell you things that you already know.
Yeah, and I don't know what I was actually gonna say. I had a thought, but now it's gone.
Yeah, I just don't get the. Yeah, it's like you don't need us to confirm what you already know. I don't have the pleasure of knowing Mr. Isbell. I don't know his wife. I don't know his band or their wives. I don't know any people. I'm just a fan of his music. I've been a fan of his music for, 4 years now. When I first heard Southeastern back in, I think it was 2013 that album came out. I don't know. It's in one ear or the other. But I know,
more
right?
accuracies.
I know. That guy will point out that it was indeed 2013, and I'm an idiot. But
what I was going to say, I remembered again. Along with the fact that our research is limited to an hour is generous on my end. I don't. You might do research for an hour, but
I read maybe
definitely
like
do
3
not.
articles.
I usually just go to their Wikipedia page and skim it real quick. So if it's on Wikipedia and I say it, sorry, but that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. And to delve deeper into his email, he was mostly complaining of that we don't know what we're talking about with the drive-by truckers, which, as we have said on multiple podcasts, we don't listen to the drive-by truckers. We don't know anything about the drive-by truckers. I said
And we
that
also don't care about the drive-by
Yeah,
truckers.
I didn't look into the band at all when I was researching him. I understand that that was the big spike in his musical career. That's how he really got out there more than anything else. Or who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But we don't listen to the drive-by truckers. So yes, when I said I think he plays guitar, I'm sorry, I was wrong. He sings on some songs too. I figured he wrote songs because I don't think he would join a band and just be like, all right, tell me what to do, because he's a really good songwriter. So I know he would use that. But yeah, we don't know about the drive-by truckers. We still don't know, and I still really don't care, because
I also
don't listen
laughed
to
a
them.
lot from one part of his message where he talked about like certain drive-by trucker songs that he wrote that he still performs live when he plays live, and he was just like, this one, which I've seen him play like 3 times live out of the 6 times I've seen him. I'm just like, okay, dude, you've seen him live. He's played songs that he wrote live. We may have not seen those songs. I also don't care. Fuck off.
Yeah, when we saw him in Texas, he was performing a lot of Southeastern songs, and then he was performing songs from Something More Than Free, because that album was just about to drop.
Yeah,
So I remember he was
so-
dropping songs from that. So I remember he
Yeah,
played
I'm
he
pretty
played
sure he
24
only-
Frames, and he played something more than Free. I remember him playing those songs at the concert, and
Yeah, I want to say that every song that he played, we recognized or ended up being a song off of Something More Than Free.
Yeah.
So, like,
I'm
sorry,
sure
in our limited knowledge, we didn't get to see him perform Drive-By Trucker songs.
Yeah.
And notice that was the case.
Yeah. So I mean,
Also, I'm not actually sorry. This is not me actually apologizing. I feel like I need to put that out there.
Yeah.
We don't actually give a shit. We don't give a shit about what this guy says. We're going to keep doing whatever the hell we want to do.
Yeah,
But
'cause-
we wanted to put it out there that we got hate mail, and it was funny because a guy was like he was really...
he was really mad. He's like,
Yeah, he seemed personally offended. I'm guessing it's a guy that doesn't have a whole lot going on, but he's got this connection to the Jason Isbell fan group page, and he's
Yeah.
just like, let me take down these fucking young guys as they talk about my Lord and Savior, because this is my time. This
Yeah.
is it. This is my moment.
It was also funny to me that he was just like, I know you guys are young, but I'm like, what is this being young? I know more about Waylon Jennings and the Highwaymen than a lot of older people do. Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
But
the last thing I want to say about the hate mail thing was just the fact that he closed it off, or he's closed his message with, me and the people in the group or whatever the hell have shrugged this podcast off as amateurism. Again,
it is.
what did you expect? We are amateurs. This is not professional. We never claimed to be. I don't understand why you're upset that people who are amateurs acted accordingly.
Neither Kevin nor I have ever taken a journalism course. We never studied journalism. We don't care about journalism. We just decided.
Nor have I taken a music class. I have not done that.
Well, I've done that, but
I know, but I have not.
but yeah, we don't claim to be pros about this. Don't get me wrong. We would love to get paid to actually interview people and get the scoops on stuff, rather than me going to all these different websites and reading articles so I can tell them on this podcast. I would love to be able to do that, but we don't make any money doing this. Also, which is a definition of amateur, because we don't get paid.
Literally the definition.
Yeah, and I would love to get paid for this. We spend money doing this instead of making it. So yes, I'm sorry that our
We're
limited
reverse
knowledge,
amateurs.
Yeah.
Super amateurs.
incredibly amateurs. Yes, so like I said it, and I'll say it again. We made this podcast to inform people of good music, not to be a documentary about artists, and so I could be your yes man saying shit you already know about an artist you like.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on.
So if you're listening again, which I doubt you are, that's what we have to say about you.
Also, Fuck off, Gumby.
Yes. I'm going to save the one that we want to talk about for last, because that's going to probably be a while.
Oh, boy.
This next one, it's just a small one. Last Wednesday, the Country Music Hall of Fame announced their 2017 inductees. The inductees are Don Schlitz, who wrote Forever and Ever Amen by Randy Travis, and The Gambler by Kenny Rogers. And then also Jerry Reed was the veteran inductee, I think it's called. And then Alan
Sure.
Jack, I think it is. It's like someone
Does
who
it
was...
just mean dead guy?
I think or else it's like from old school, and then they have the newer one, which is Alan Jackson was the other one.
Oh, nice.
So it's actually 3 really good people being inducted. So I'm 100% okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other than that, Chris Stapleton's new album title has finally been revealed. It's called From a Room Volume 1, and along with that, he announced that he'll be releasing a Volume 2 later this year. Surprisingly, though, the CD only has 9 tracks, so I hope Volume 2 is longer. Otherwise, I don't get why he doesn't just release like an 18-track CD.
Yeah, that is kind of short. I didn't know that. I knew that it got announced, and that was what it was called.
Yeah.
Which, again, like, waiting on the announcement of the album title, and then the album title is just From a Room. Like, really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care, but yeah.
Yeah, no, just minor. It just seems kind of funny. Like, From a Room. Like, well, yeah, you recorded it fucking somewhere.
Yeah, I just don't get... Well, because his last CD was, 2 years ago? So I understand.
Was it? Yeah, it had to be, because it was right after, or right before, I guess, technically, we went down to Texas. And was that...
Yeah.
Was that 2016 or 2015?
I believe so. But
Sounds about right.
I just don't get... Because, like... I understand when people release, like, an 11-track CD, but most of them are usually between, like, 15 and 17. And even Jamie Johnson's last CD was 25 tracks.
Speaking of which, he needs to release another album.
Oh.
Please, God.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, I'm pretty sure he said he doesn't want to
Please.
because, country music is just shafting him right now, so he doesn't really want to.
Yeah, but I know that, like
He wrote Kicked Out of Country with George Strait.
Yeah, because I thought that his deal was, like, he's got it was, like, contractual thing.
Yeah, they're like shafting him out of money.
Yeah, all right, so once again, if there's a Jamie Johnson superfan listening who's about to eviscerate us for not having knowledge, I believe, I have no actual, no research in front of me, but I believe it was something along the lines of where, like, he is getting screwed, and so he didn't want to release more music because it was something about, like, who he'd be releasing it for. Like, I'm guessing he's under some sort of contract to release a certain amount of albums or songs or something, and so he's just kind of, like, either waiting that out until he can get out of it or something. But, I've seen him, like, 3 times since, how many times have I seen him? Yeah, like, 3 times since he released that last album. He just plays, he starts doing some more covers just to, not play the same songs over and over again. But it's just like, come on, dude. Like, we all know you're an amazing songwriter. We all know that you're going to make an amazing album the next time the album comes out. Just give it to us. Give the fans the music. I realize that the executives are being a bunch of dickheads, but come on.
Yeah. 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 Another thing, which is awesome, The Rock is a Cody Jinks fan.
Yeah, we saw that today. That was awesome.
So great. He posted a screenshot of a Cody Jinks song. It's just like, everyone needs to listen to him. And then I tweeted out, as if I needed another reason to love The Rock, he's a Cody Jinks fan, and Cody Jinks retweeted it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just awesome, man. I guess what does he say? He's also a fan of Sturgill Simpson and Jamie Johnson.
And Merle, and, like, he listed a bunch of
he's a big classic country fan. And I remember I saw on Instagram, because obviously I run our account, so I was looking through it, and someone posted something like, oh yeah, listen to real country, and he's just go, yeah, I'm all about the traditional country. I'm like, yes, Rock, yes. I love you so much.
Love The Rock.
I guess I'll go see
it.
Baywatch now.
Dude, have you seen any of the trailers?
Oh yeah, it looks hilarious.
It looks so funny.
Yeah, it's like 21 Jump Street on a beach.
Yeah, no. When it got announced, I was like, this is going to be terrible, and then I saw the first trailer, and I literally laughed so hard. I'm like, yeah, I will see this. But what I was going to say is, as far as, that helping Cody Jinks' audience, apparently The Rock's got, like,
85 million.
85 million followers. Like,
Yeah.
granted, there's probably a lot of people who follow The Rock who don't give a shit about country music and aren't going to check him out. But out of 85 million, you have to imagine there's a decent chunk
At least
that
like
is going to check
15
him
million.
out.
Yeah.
So what we should do, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to pull up his Spotify, and then I'm just gonna take a look as the days go on and see if there's just a massive spike in the streams on his songs on Spotify.
Yeah, especially the song that he posted. I can't remember which one he posted a picture of, but
Something from I'm Not the Devil? Was
yeah,
that it?
I think so. He once that one is, I'm sure that one might enter into the top 5 if that's because I
Holy
feel like
shit.
that's the one that people are going to go to.
Damn, I mean, I know the last time I looked at his top songs, he did not have nearly this many, so I feel like it's already happening. But Loud and Heavy's at 4.1 million. Last time I checked that out, I think he was only at 2. I'm Not the Devil is at 1.9. Hippies and Cowboys is at 2.2. Cast No Stones is at 2.5. Mama Song's at 1.6. I don't think any of those were anywhere close to that last time I checked this out. And I'm pretty sure the last time I checked this out was after he went on Conan, and that's when they got bumped up into like...
Oh yeah,
I was
he
like, "God damn."
skyrocketed after he was on Conan, that's for sure.
Yeah, so he's about to enter the stratosphere, and it's fucking awesome because, as we've made mention many, many times, we are huge Cody Jinks fans because he's, I mean, arguably the best country music artist that is out there right now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know what else, like, I don't know what else to say. Like, he's really that good.
Yeah, we'll do an episode on him and we'll explain why he's a sellout and he sucks and everything. But
I can't even joke about that.
I know he's too good. All right. So, do you have anything else before we get to the big one?
No, I got nothing.
All right. Well, we could do an entire podcast on this. Whiskey Riff has cemented themselves as the worst fucking country music blog on the internet. I gave them the benefit of the doubt last time we talked about them, but I can't anymore.
We tried to give them some slack.
Like the founder and their page liked our podcast when I mentioned them in our post and everything, and they were like, "Oh, they're probably a good podcast talking about us." I was like, "We did kind of talk well about you, but that's never again because this is the worst goddamn article I've ever read." So on Friday, they posted an opinion piece titled, "Here's the real reason you hate mainstream country music." So basically, I know you read it, but for anyone listening who hasn't read it, to sum it up, it says that it's the reason you hate mainstream country music is the same reason you hated the popular kids in high school, because you're pretty much a loser who never experienced what country songs talk about. Like, we just sat at home being jealous that popular kids talked to girls and drank beer. Luke Bryan and Sam Hunt are just the popular kids that we're jealous of because girls like them. So where the music we like, those kids in high school are the artsy kids that no one likes, but their talent is appreciated.
Yeah, so I read this, and, I'm not about to try to be like, no, man, I was the coolest kid ever, and I totally get it. Like, but to straight, and like, so this whole blog post was like pointing it at the reader. It wasn't talking about like people who don't like country music or don't like mainstream country music or blah blah blah. It was like you are probably this. I'm guessing you were like that. Yeah. I'm guessing, and it was like, I'm guessing you didn't go to parties, you didn't have friends, you were lame, and so you're just jealous. Preteen, teenager days have turned you into an angry adult who is just pissed off that these popular kids are getting more and more popular, and that's the reason why you hate mainstream country music. It's not because mainstream country music artists release the same goddamn songs every goddamn time, and they're just a bunch of douchebags, and they're pandering to people who are 20 to 30 years younger than them. It's not that. It's not the fact that they're incorporating elements of pop music into country, which is just terrible because pop country sounds like shit. It's not that. It's the fact that we're all jaded, angry 20 to 30-year-olds who
couldn't get past high school.
We couldn't get laid back in the day, and we don't like seeing people get laid now, and that's why. Yeah, so it's basically the most... It's an opinion piece, so I guess the guy who wrote it can fucking say whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
And if that's his opinion, that's totally fine. But I would like to ask anyone listening, what do you think? Send us your responses in the form of smoke signal, and we'll get to them.
Well, like I wrote down a lot more. But
Yeah, no, I know you have plenty to say.
yeah, but because I wrote down, I didn't realize that country music was just a high school in a poorly written movie. It's not at all just a genre of music that people are passionate about. It's just that it's a popularity contest where the handsome people only deserve to win. Because that's exactly how I described it. He's just like, "Oh, you were just mad in high school." I'm like, "So you're comparing this traditional genre to high school, that if you don't like it, it's because of high school." I'm like, these songs aren't aimed at high schoolers. That's what you're talking about, that these songs are about what you experienced in high school.
And he's also then taking it and saying, it only has to do with people that are around this age,
Yeah.
Because if he's going to try to talk about modern country music being popular and people who don't appreciate it being lame in high school, well, what about like people our parents' age? When they were in high school, real great country music was being made and being produced, and is nothing like the shit that's out there now. So how does that factor into this guy's retarded take on popularity contests? Like Luke Bryan back in the day, if you took his music, now and stacked it up against, in the 80s and 70s when, George Strait was making music, and Merle Haggard and Waylon Jennings and all those guys. If you took the music and put it side by side, they're nothing alike at all.
Yeah.
So that just doesn't make any sense.
Which I understand goes with the thing of genres change or whatever, but it doesn't. But their songs were also about the hardworking American, not about trying to get laid in your 20s, because that's what those songs are about. So I wrote also.
The dude's trying to defend just straight up pandering. He thinks that just straight up pandering in country music is actually fine because cool people got to experience it. I think a lot more people than just cool people have experienced just getting drunk and going to parties. And I don't think that's the reason why modern country music is fucking terrible.
Yeah, I wrote. Yeah, I think Whiskey Riff was founded by two douchebags who never moved on from high school because they peaked then and there. Because everything I've seen them post on social media, it seems to be like the douchebag response you would used to hear in high school and in college of, "You're just jealous that bitches love me. You don't get laid like us." And then they post puppy pictures, obviously to get the, "Oh my god, you guys are so adorable," like response from dumb stereotypical cheerleader and sorority girls. And then they respond to any criticism they get with, "You're just jealous." Like,
and it's also probably because they didn't move on from high school, and now that they're actually making money off of a stupid country music blog that is just full of shit, they don't have to, because they're going to make enough money off of that piece of crap to continue to be douchebags for the rest of their life.
And you know that they'll go out to bars and just be like, "Yeah, I'm the one who founded Whiskey Riff, like, suck my dick." Like, they'll be those guys, and I can see it. I can tell just by the way they respond. And I mean, they have a podcast, and I was debating just looking into it just to hear how big of douchebags are, because I have a feeling they are. Like,
I'm guessing that they're...
Who knows? Maybe they're super nice, but I doubt it.
I want to know how old they are, because it just makes sense that they're trying to defend hitting on high schoolers, because they're probably the old dudes at the bar trying to hit on high schoolers.
They look around our age, maybe a little older.
Still can't go to bars. Well, I guess high schoolers can't get in bars, but still, hitting on high schoolers and young chicks, just because they're trying to defend their own, juvenile old person,
and
attitudes.
Even if they were at all right about what they were saying, at least when other sources and actual news sources and articles are criticized, they back up their opinions with facts. Like Saving Country Music is a big example that we always use, and he backs up everything he says of why he doesn't like something with a fact of, well, this is what's happening in this, recording studio or whatever. But all they do is just call you names. They're just like, oh, because I saw one, it was someone saying, like, that article's stupid, and they go, "Okay, have fun going to your boring Monday job while I live my dream job."
Yeah, and so the thing that, just as I read this and I tried to think about, arguing. I guess we're not actually arguing about it because we have the same stance, but trying to think of any valid points from it. The only thing that I could get out of it that I feel like could be sort of a valid idea is that people would hate this kind of music if they had not experienced these things. And that really only, but like that makes sense for like, this is probably why people who grew up and continued to live in the inner city would hate modern country music, because they're just like, well, fuck that truck shit. Like, I don't care about that. So like, that's fair.
Well,
but that's not because they weren't popular in high school. It's because they don't live in a place where people on Friday nights and Saturday nights go out into a field and drink beers and shit together. Like, that's not a like, you can't take, A over here, which is your popularity in high school, and then just say like, this implies B over here, your opinion on modern country music. Like, that does not follow.
But the thing is that I understand the whole lyricism of it, of, I don't live in a country, why would I care about singing about a country thing? But that also attracts yuppies, one. And two, inner city people are starting to listen to it more. Like, we're not, like, well, you're from a country town, but I'm from Batavia, which is a pretty big city, and then people we know who live in Chicago and stuff, they love it because it's pop music and you can listen to it at clubs. That's why they do like it. So it's
which just goes on to prove that their only shred of things that I could try to wrap my head around an idea does not actually logically follow.
Yeah. And it's just bad. But the article was written by a guy named Wes Langler. I don't know. I don't care about pronouncing your name right because you suck. His other blog posts include 10 tips guaranteed to make you the country concert king of the summer, which was pretty much not country concert. It was about how to be a douchebag at a music festival, pretty much. The only one I agreed with was wear sunscreen. And then his other one that I saw was the Ripped List. 12 country studs crushing it in the gym.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So I could just tell from those that he's a fucking bro, and it's just like, yeah, I love country. I get wasted all the time, and all the chicks in skinny jeans are hot. I'm like, yeah. But it's weird because he's also posted articles about Whiskey Mars and Chris Stapleton, but I think those articles are the ones that are pandering, not these other ones. I think that's how he truly feels, because you wouldn't write how to look ripped in a gym or how to be the king of a concert if you weren't actually thinking that way. No one would sit there writing that article seriously if you'd actually prefer to listen to Whiskey Mars and Chris Stapleton.
Yeah, fair. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that's the one where he's pandering. But the best counterpoint, like, obviously most country blogs and articles and news sources are all just ripping this one apart because it's so dumb. The only people I've seen defend it actually are just low country artists who aren't making it. Because I was actually thinking about this, is that we get followed by a lot of musicians and stuff on Twitter and Instagram who just, they're just hunting for likes. They want us to like them back. And occasionally I will listen to their songs just because I'm like, I'm curious because I do want to find good music. But so many of them are singing as if it's still like 2010. They still sing just really outdated stereotypical songs. And it's like, that's why you're not making it. You're not writing good songs. You're writing the same pandering songs that you think you're going to make it because it sounds like every other song on the radio. And it's annoying. And so those are the people still liking Whiskey Riff, like, yeah, that's the kind of music we love. It's like, no, it's not. It's really not. No one likes it except for 21-year-old girls at college parties who are about to be roofied by someone.
Dark.
Yeah, exactly. But one of the best, yeah, we were both Greek life, but roofie jokes. One of the best.
I feel like we were like Greek light.
Oh, we were, because I would have never joined a fraternity because everyone I ever visited at ISU was a douchebag. So,
I bet they loved Luke Bryan.
Probably, but then again, when I was a freshman, I did too.
Like now, they would.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. But one of the best counterpoints to this blog was posted by, her name's just Megan on the site, Megan from countryexclusive.com, who said that this article is actually even worse than you think because it doesn't even mention a girl's perspective on it, because all the songs and stuff that they talked about in it, the women were just objects in this article. They didn't even discuss how, like...
well, the dude probably is of that opinion that women are objects, so that's why he wrote from that perspective.
Exactly. He's probably just the kind of guy who, the ones that we saw at Country Thunder very often, who just tear sleeves off of flannels so they can flex, and they just walk around being like, country chicks love this. Like, they're those guys who wear cut-off jorts with steel-toe boots because they think it looks cool, even though you look like an idiot. But, yeah, he's just like, pretty much all the women in all these songs are just objects. And she said, the reason Maddie and Tay's Girl in a Country Song was as successful wasn't because it wasn't a great song. It wasn't because it was a pop song. It was because it talked about how all these songs treat women as objects, which I do love the song for that. And the music video is hilarious with the dudes acting like women in it. It's
I appreciate the hell out of the words to that song. I just can't get past the song, the way it sounds itself, because it is the pop song.
And that's exactly it. It's as though what she said. She said it wasn't popular because it was a pop song or because it was by these two girls. It was because the girls loved it, because it was just like, yeah, we're not your pieces of meat that you try and win by sitting on a tailgate, cranking up Jason Aldean. Like, that's not what they want. I mean, granted, yeah, they love dancing to these pop songs and stuff, but they're sick of the very, like, rapey type song of Body Like a Back Road. That is a god-awful song because it's a guy
terrible.
Identifying a woman as a road.
Inanimate object.
Yeah. And it's just
gets, ridden hard.
Yeah. And the last thing I had to say was I tweeted to Saving Country Music asking if you've seen it. He just replied, "Yes, I've seen it. ... So
I was gonna ask if he responded. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So he, I don't know if he's probably not gonna write an article on it because honestly, it's not worth the time. I mean, honestly, we didn't even have to get into it. I just wanted to rant about it because it pissed me off. Because
we ended up going on for a while.
I mean, because like I said, it's one thing. It's dumb that you even say it's anything like high school because it's not. But the fact that it says it's because you were unpopular, it's like, I wasn't unpopular in high school. I wasn't homecoming king and prom king, and I didn't go to every party, mostly because I didn't drink in high school. But I definitely had friends.
Lame.
Yeah, I know, right? Because I didn't get wasted and drive around trucks and hit on women when I was wasted. Sorry, I guess I'm a terrible person, and I shouldn't be listening to country music.
We had plenty of friends, and we had a fine time in high school.
Yeah.
And the fact that I hate modern pandering shitty pop country music is not because of my high school experience. It's because I've grown to learn an appreciation for actual music and actual country music, and modern shitty pop bro country music is not that. It's just a terrible knockoff crap genre trying to take credit for being part of a very storied and well done music genre.
Yeah.
That's why I hate it, not because of high school.
Yeah, and if those guys' life, because of this stupid country blog that they started, is the fact that they drink and drive trucks all the time because that's what they're able to do because they can afford it, then yeah, those songs are about you. Good on you. They're awesome. But don't say that they're better than anyone else just because they're not, or because they're more popular. I could, if someone lit a fucking turd on fire, threw it up on stage, and had a fiddle playing behind it, and that went number one, I'd say, no, that's literally a flaming piece of shit. It's not a good song. And everyone would be like, well, it's popular. Like, I don't give a shit if it's popular. It's not good. But
yeah, no, I've had that argument a lot just about modern pop music, not even just pop country music, that just because it's like super popular doesn't mean it's good. Like
LeVar Ball, just because he's super popular doesn't mean he's right about anything he's talking about.
Yeah, I don't get the notion that because it's being followed and whatever by lots of people that makes it automatically good. Like, that makes absolutely no sense to me.
Yeah. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so fuck Whiskey Riff. I will never respect them as a news organization. Not that I ever did. I will never respect them as a fucking blog ever again, that's for sure. Yeah, so I'm gonna tag them in this podcast, and I'm gonna end this on go fuck yourself, Whiskey Riff. Yeah. Because I'm just a loser who had no friends in high school, so I'm just really jealous of you guys. So I understand that we only have dozens of listeners for our podcast, where you guys probably have dozens of thousands. Sorry. We're not cool.
Sorry.
Oh, no. It's okay, because as the same with good country music, less people listen to us.
Yeah,
anyway.
All right, now that we've successfully had the longest opening topic discussion in the history of the podcast.
I might title this podcast Whiskey Riff and Brandy Clark. Or Whiskey Riff sucks and Brandy Clark, because we're not going to talk about Brandy Clark as long as we did about other stuff. Yeah, anyway, Brandy Clark.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, we're talking about Brandy Clark.
Yep. Literally, so I'm going to say this disclaimer every single episode from now on because of this hate mail that we got. We don't know what we're talking about with her. We mostly just want to talk about her music. We'll talk about some background of her life. It might be wrong. It probably is wrong. Please, if you're...
It's from Wikipedia.
If you're a diehard Brandy Clark fan and you're listening to this, if that's what brought you to this podcast, please know that we respect her as an artist, as a person, as everything, but we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. We just want to talk about her music.
I also appreciate you listening this long when we haven't even mentioned Brandy Clark.
Brandy Clark?
My brain hurts. We haven't even talked about Brandy Clark until now, 50 minutes in.
Yeah.
So thanks for sticking around this long if you are still here.
Yeah. So we just want to talk about it, and then we'll answer the question. And if you are also a new listener, every week we talk about an artist, and then we decide if they're country, not country, or a sellout. So if they're a sellout, they used to be a good artist, or they have potential to be a good artist, but they're just a slave to their labels and to what's popular on the radio right now, as we've
and I'm also going to offer an amendment between country, not country, sellout. The sellout also is, in parentheses, Whiskey Riff probably likes them.
Well, they like Cody Jinks, so I wouldn't say that.
No, I don't think they actually do.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, so Brandy Clark, the one piece of information I actually wrote down was she was born in Morton, Washington. So she's not a southerner. She's a northerner. Or she's a westerner? I don't know.
Northwesterner.
Northwesterner, yeah. So, I mean, though she was born in a small town, so unlike what most country songs say, is you don't have to be from the South to be from a small town. So, yeah, she's... Anyone who doesn't know her probably knows her songs because she has written a lot of songs.
Yeah, that's a thing that I knew that she had a lot of songwriting credits because you told me to listen to her, and and you told me that, and I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. But I never actually looked up the list of her songwriting credits until today, and I really was blown away by like the amount first of songwriting credits, including like very popular songs that a lot of people would know. Songs like "Mama's Broken Heart" by Miranda Lambert, a lot of people would know that. Literally 6-7 songs, maybe even more than that, by Casey Musgrave that you probably would know.
They have both co-written songs for other artists too.
Yes, they have. Yeah, but so yeah, her songwriting is,
and she's got,
and even if it's a song that I don't, like,
she's also got.
It's still cool to have songwriting credits.
She's written for Darius Rucker, Craig Campbell, Keith Urban, Wade Bowen, Craig Morgan, Miranda Lambert, Sonny Sweeney, Ray Scott, Toby Keith, and Reba. Like, she's written for a lot of people.
Yeah, and according to Wikipedia, she's 41. Which is kind of interesting that she's just now... She's got 2 albums out, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, I mean, I guess that's kind of the way it goes for people who do, songwriting as their main focus first, and then transition to being a performer. But I think it's kind of interesting that she's as old as she is with only, the 2 albums, because, like, she probably could have, if she had gotten the opportunity to be just a recording artist right off the bat, she could have been, making music for a long time by now.
Yeah, well, I was reading about 12 Stories, and she only did it as a passion project. She didn't even want to, she didn't think it would go anywhere. She just wanted to release a CD, and then it ended up being a Grammy and CMA nominated CD. And it had a bunch of best CDs of the year of 2013 things. I remember it was on the same list that Southeastern by Jason Isbell was on.
Oh.
Yeah, like that. I remember, because that's, I think, where I started listening to it, because it was on that list. I remember I went through and listened to that entire list, because it had Sturgill Simpson, Brandy Clark, and Jason Isbell on that list.
Damn. Yeah. I bet that's a list that Whiskey Riff would hate.
Yeah. And she's opened for Eric Church, Jennifer Nettles, who was in Sugarland, and Alan Jackson. She's performed on a bunch of late-night shows. She's performed with Dwight Yoakam. Like, she's exploded since 12 Stories came out.
Yeah, so then after 12 Stories came out, she released
Big Day in a Small Town.
Big Day in a Small Town. I was just like, Day in a Small Town?
Yeah.
Which, according to Wikipedia, I'm just going to keep citing my sources because I don't want to be inaccurate. That one ended up peaking at number 8 on the U.S. country list, which is, pretty decently high for a person who had only had one album before. And
for who's only had 2 charted songs on the radio.
On the radio?
Because she had her debut single from that CD of Girl Next Door. I think it peaked at 39 or something. And then the other one that peaked was Hold My Hand, mostly because she performed that one with Dwight Yoakam, so it got kind of out there.
Mm-hmm. Which is, in my opinion, Hold My Hand is her best song. I think it's amazing. I like how on Spotify you've got the version that she does by herself, and you also have the one with Dwight Yoakam, so
yeah,
I love it.
I just read this, that the song Daughter, which is a really funny song. Casey Musgraves does guest vocals on it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But, so we don't... I guess we could have one little footnote of it doesn't matter because she's widely respected in the genres that she's an openly lesbian woman, so it's nice to know that she's not being, blackballed from country because of it. Granted, I don't want to stir up any frickin' whatever, but I'm trying to think of the word. 9/11's controversy. But who knows? Maybe she doesn't peak as high as she should because of it. I doubt it. I hope not, at least. But
I feel like it'd be impossible to know for sure. But I feel like no. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's just
it shouldn't. Basically, what we're trying to say is it shouldn't matter, and it doesn't matter because.
And it's cool that
that does matter is the music that it is out there.
And it's cool that she's open about it, and that she just still writes the songs she writes because she doesn't do anything. And honestly, I had to read an article to even know that, because none of her songs are just you wouldn't understand life as a lesbian type songs or anything. It's not something that has to be flaunted to get her name out there. She could probably go out on all these national news channels and be like, I'm not being listened to because I'm a lesbian, and then get all this traction because of it. But no, she doesn't give a shit. She's just playing the music she likes, and she does it fucking well.
Yeah, no, her music is amazing. It's one of those where I would say just literally listen to both albums just start to finish. Just put them on. They're really good. She has a lot of songs that are more acoustic driven and slower, but they're all very well written. Like I already said, the song Hold My Hand is a tremendous song. The song Girl Next Door is really good, but also
that's actually my least favorite.
You don't like Girl Next Door?
Because it's just too... It's it just gets a weird beat to it, and it's just kind of, I don't know. It's not, I love the lyrics of it, don't get me wrong, I love that. It's just the sound of it I'm not huge on. because that's the one that she released right before the CD came out, and I was like, I hope she's not like selling out or anything, because it just didn't sound like 12 Stories did.
It's a more up tempo song for sure.
Yeah, so I was just worried that that's what was happening, but it's not the case, because Big Day in a Small Town is an amazing CD. But
Yep.
yeah, I don't have like a whole lot to say about her. I mean, she's an award nominated artist. She's won an award for, I think she won like a songwriting award for Follow Your Arrow, which she co-wrote with Casey Musgraves.
Which makes a lot more sense now when I think about it, because that song is obviously a very progressive song in the song lyrics.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think, I guess we can't know our favorite songs by her that we could. I mean, obviously, yes, definitely just go through the 2 CDs and listen to them, because they're both fantastic. But we could just go through like our favorites that we'll probably add to the Hodgepodge Cast Picks playlist.
We can definitely do that. I would say, as far as 12 Stories goes, Hold My Hand is on it, and it's fantastic. So I would say that's definitely my favorite song from that album. But the song Stripes is pretty funny. I don't want to say that I quote-unquote like it a super amount, because the song is called Stripes, and the whole thing is it's like she's not going to go to prison. I'm pretty sure it's like she's got
She doesn't want a
cheating lover.
She won't kill her husband because she doesn't look good in orange, and she hates wearing stripes.
Exactly, which is, I think, really funny, and so I think that song is worth listening to. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's pretty.
I love
pretty
that.
Funny.
I love that song.
I think it's pretty funny.
From that CD, the other ones I listen to a lot are Just Like Him. It's a really sad song.
That's a good song.
What'll Keep Me Out of Heaven, I really like, which is just about like how 2 married people are cheating on their significant others with each other, and so the line is, "What'll keep me out of heaven, it will take me there tonight." And so it's just about like going to a hotel and hooking up with someone else, and how she's pretty much regretting it the entire time. But yeah, it's a really good one. Then on her next CD, I think the ones I listen to a lot are I guess before I get into them, the song "You Can Come Over" is also featured on Craig Campbell's CD. It's on Never Forget, or is it on the other one? Yeah, it's on Never Regret. It's on that CD.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he recorded on that. I love that song. I mostly listen to it by him, just because that's where I first heard it, because that CD came out before Big Day in a Small Town. But that's a really good one. Love Can Go to Hell might be my favorite from that CD, because it's like an upbeat, but it's just, as you can tell by the song title, it's just Love Can Go to Hell. Big Day in a Small Town is another one that just shows how funny she is. It's just like the girl's water broke while she was in geometry class, and her mom had been telling her for 9 months that she's getting fat. And it turns out, she was pregnant and all that. And it's just her, like, because I like that she also, her songs about small town life, it isn't just like, small town life is paradise. It's a lot of, no, living in a small town can suck. Like, it's hell half the time. Like, you want to get out, but it sucks. Which
is a common theme that she has also with Casey Musgraves, which makes sense now that I realize that they write a lot of songs together, because she does the same thing where she's got, songs about, like, everyone glamorizes the small towns in these country songs, but it's also kind of annoying sometimes because everybody knows everybody, so everything that happens gets judged super hard by everyone because everyone's fucking there. But as far as Big Day in a Small Town, I definitely would say I listen to this album more than I listen to 12 Stories. I don't know why, but I do.
Because you're a loser.
Yeah, that's it. But so, like, the title track, Big Day in a Small Town, that you already mentioned, is a great song. We already mentioned Daughter being a good song.
Another funny one.
Since You've Gone to Heaven.
Oh my God, that song is the most depressing song ever.
It's super depressing. It's about her dad dying and kind of, talking about, like, going over to see her mom because she knows that she's in the house alone, and super sad, but just a really good
Yeah.
song.
The line is, "Since you've gone to heaven, the whole world's gone to hell." And that song is amazing.
Yeah, but I also love the song Homecoming Queen. I love the song Broke. You already mentioned You Can Come Over. Again, I mean, like I said, I just listen to it from start to finish because it is really good.
Another one I listened to, it's because a lot of her songs are also, they're not about like, I mean, obviously there's a lot of country songs that are about couples not staying together, but her song 3 Kids No Husband is really good.
Yeah.
Obviously about a single mother of 3 children. And it's just like, because it's so crazy because half her songs are like super depressing, just really real, really good. And then she has songs like Get High, which is just, you can't do anything, so might as well get high type thing. Like, just
understandable.
Yeah, like, it's just, then she has the song, then she'll go on and have the song Illegitimate Children, which is about boning someone that you met at a bar and then you end up having a kid because you weren't careful. It's like, because the line is, "That's how illegitimate children get born." Like, it's just, like, she's just, her songwriting is so
very
diverse. Clever. Yeah, she's just a really good songwriter. So it's really not surprising that she has so many songwriting credits in her life, because it's all phenomenal.
Yeah, she's definitely one to, I mean, and granted, I don't know what her plans are. I mean, this album came out in 2016, so I imagine she's still, recording music and moving forward that way. But she's definitely one to keep an eye out as she continues to release music, because of the fact that she is such a good songwriter. You would imagine, any album that comes out, even if as a whole the album is not just tremendous, like, there's gonna be good songs that are at least well written that I would imagine coming through.
Look at this hat.
Look at this hat. What?
Did I share my screen?
I don't know what you're talking about.
On Skype.
And this is now a great... Oh, shit, I don't have the Skype open. She just sent me a picture of... It's just, you can buy a hat from her that just says, literally, "Get high."
I want it. And there's also a shirt. Just says "Get high" on it. That's great. I love Brandy Clark. Yeah, so
that's funny.
Obviously, like we said, we don't have a whole lot because we didn't want to get into her bio, mostly because we got yelled at, and so we don't want to get all this wrong. Obviously, if we were able to interview people, if we weren't amateur podcasters, we could learn more. But pretty much, we definitely wanted to do this episode because she's an artist she's technically in the mainstream, but she's so underappreciated in the mainstream. Like, usually it's very black and white of it's either, or black, white, and another stark color. It's like you're either a very successful Nashville artist, you're up on the radio, you're making millions of dollars a year, that's the popular people know, and then or else you're like a Texas artist who no one knows who you are, but you have such a cult following. But she's in the mainstream and she's like unknown. And then obviously there's the other one of just no one knows or cares who you are. You're just making it, not making it. But like,
and then you try to get Whiskey Riff to follow you and then you give them credit for making, reviewing terrible songs favorably and all that shit.
Yeah, so she's just like, she deserves a lot more. I mean, obviously she's, in terms of accolades and stuff, she's very well off in terms of songwriting. Anyone who's performing in country knows who they are, but the mainstream audience might not know. Because I've said so many times, people like Brandy Clark is one of the best female country artists out there, because apparently that's the thing you still have to say these days, is that she's a great female artist, even though overall she's just a great artist. But when people ask, like, because a lot of people be like, well, who out there is their country besides Miranda Lambert and Carrie Underwood? It's like, there's a lot. You're just not listening to them.
And the radio gets dominated by the terrible ones, which is unfortunate for female country artists.
And the thing is, I mean, yeah, it just gets dominated by terrible music in general, but it also gets dominated by males, which I completely agree with, that there are a lot more male artists out there that are getting fame than women. But I think it's less of a sex issue than it is of, they're just, well, yeah, I guess that is a huge sex issue. But, yeah, so she's just one that we wanted to get everyone to know, because as we answer the question, country, not country, sellout, we will obviously both say country. Unless
What? I am not saying that.
yeah,
So no, absolutely country.
Yeah, so because she's phenomenal, and we just want people to hear her. So, Brantley. Oh God, I'm broken too. Brandy Clark, very country. To sum up the podcast, so, yeah, I guess we could have done a little better research on her, but oh well. We just want to talk about the music this time, so we don't get yelled at by a super fan, even though we probably still will.
They'll find us.
Yeah. So, Brandy Clark, country. We'll put the music that you should listen to in the podcast playlist on Spotify. You can listen in.
Yeah.
So, moving on. We'll finish up really quick because this thing's been going for a while.
Yeah.
It's not as long as any other one. Album's coming out this week, April 14th. It's a really slow week. I couldn't really find any, but the one that I did find, which is very noteworthy, Sam Outlaw's new CD, Tenderheart, comes out Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm very excited for that. What songs he has on Spotify from it are amazing. So I'm very excited for that CD. Obviously, we'll probably do an episode on him eventually. Maybe a couple weeks after the CD comes out so we can listen to it and get to know a little more about it. But yeah, so that's the only CD I've written down, so that's obviously the pick of the week. Because I just couldn't find anything else. I mean, there might have been other stuff coming out, but if I did see it, it wasn't worthy of talking about. And
it's probably good to just not talk about shit that we don't know or care about, you know.
I don't know. Whiskey Riff probably has a good article on something coming out. But yeah, so if there is something that came out, like I did with Lindy Ortega a few weeks ago, I'll talk about it next week or whenever I realize it did come out because I'm stupid. But yeah, so
amateur.
Yeah. So anyway, what we're listening to, watching, reading, sleeping with. What are we doing, Kevin?
I thought about this and I couldn't think of anything good to say what I've been listening to because honestly, all I've been listening to is Brandy Clark to get in preparation for this podcast, and then I've just been on the Whiskey Myers train since before the concert and for the podcast because that was awesome, and then like over the weekend I was still just jamming out to him. But the only artist that I would say that I have been listening to is that I have been listening to the opener for Whiskey Myers is a rock band, just a straight up rock band. They're not even a country band. They're called Goodbye June. I like them a lot. I don't know how you felt from them from the concert. But like I told you, they reminded me of this band called Highly Suspect. So I've been listening to Goodbye June and Highly Suspect a lot. Not country, but that's what I've been listening to.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've only been listening to two things really, other than I was listening to Brandy Clark a lot also. One thing, it's another podcast. It's called Auntie Donna. They're just these three improv comedians from Australia. Another Australian podcast, I know, but they're incredibly funny.
All you listen to,
pretty much, yeah. Their
foreign podcast.
Their podcast is it's called Auntie Donna, and they're only a half hour long each, but they're so funny because they just improvise the entire time, and it's hilarious. But the other thing I was listening to is it came up on my Spotify the other day, so I've listened to it a few more times since. Is the song "Fishin' Alone" by Eric Dillon. It's just a phenomenal song. It's like, I'm going to get it wrong, but it's pretty much because obviously I'm really good at getting the messages and songs right. And by that I mean really bad. It's pretty much about like how he used to go fishing with, is it his dad or his grandpa? I don't remember. But it's pretty much just like, if I would have known that the last time we were fishing, I would have talked a little less and I would have fished a little more and kind of stuff like that. And like, pretty much it's just, he wishes that he could go back to fishing with them rather than being out here fishing by himself. It's just a really, really good song.
That sounds good. I have not heard him or heard of him. However, I feel like I want to say that that's one of those artists that has either been like recommended or something random like that I feel like I've seen that name. It's also Eric Dillon sounds like a pretty
I'm actually
run-of-the-mill name, so it could be something I've never heard of. But
I'm looking it up right now, and I think I'm right, but his song Fishing Alone was nominated for Song of the Year by Saving Country Music last year.
Oh, that could be it. That I just read his article.
Yeah, with that, I remember because that list of songs, I wanted either Fishing Alone or what was the other one? I wanted Fishing Alone or Evan Webb, Dry Up or Drown. I wanted one of those songs to win, but I ended up choosing a different song. That was a Song of the Year. But yeah, so that song I've been listening to a lot recently, and it's real good.
What have you been watching?
That Invader Zim. Yeah,
good.
I've been binging Invader Zim because I finished my other shows, so I've just decided to start something new. So I did that. But also, just really quick, Eric Dylan's CD. It's called Flatland Boy, and it got an 8 out of 10 on Saving Country Music. So
I gotta check it out then.
Yeah. So, yeah, the song Fishing Alone, I'll add that one to the list. I might actually add Evan Webb's Dry Up or Drown also, because now that I looked at that, I remembered how much I love that song. So, yeah.
That's fair. That's the point of the picks.
So, yeah, that's so that's everything I got. Sorry we didn't get into, even though this episode's going to be called Brandy Clark, we didn't get into her as much as we normally do with artists, but like we said, we just really want to get the songs out there, so we'll add those songs. Listen to Brandy Clark. She's amazing.
Yep, she is.
Yeah, so moving on, we'll do final thing is plugs. Got some shit to plug. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, all at the Hodgecast. You could Gmail us, email us, whatever, at thehodgecast@gmail.com. You can buy the shirt at tpublic.com/user/Clifftron. I know, Kevin, you finally bought it, right?
I am going to buy it.
Okay.
At some point.
Okay. Good. I'm gonna look up really quick to see if anyone actually has bought it, because I don't know. I doubt it, but I'm not signed in. Never mind. I'll do it later. Anyway. Other than that, you could find me on Facebook and Twitter at Steve Hodge Music, and you can find Kevin on Twitter at Churchbird. So that's all for this week. Listen to Brandy Clark; she's amazing, and I will woo all night long, getting ready for next week's episode of. Actually, Kevin, how do you feel about this? Woo or new? Of Sam Hunt next week. Woo! So yes, stay tuned for next week when we'll be talking about Sam Hunt. So until then, my name is Steve. Joining me is Woo Guy himself, Kevin Hodge. And until next week, goodbye, good night, and good Charlotte. Woo! Woo!